I have been a minimalist for the last 8 years, and today in this video I'm going to share 15 things that I can now easily live without ever since I started minimalist living. And these are definitely things that I would not have thought I would be able to do without in my pre-minimalism life, but it turns out that I can. Of course, when it comes down to it, we can all live without these things. They are not necessities, they are luxuries. We do not need them for survival. But when I sat down to prepare for this video, I realized that these were things I used to do or buy a lot when I was younger. And definitely, not only do I not miss them now, I also think that my life is better for it now that I am not spending so much time and money on these things. And I'm happy to say that I partnered up with Organic Basics for this video, more on them later. But for now, let's just begin with the first on my list. The first on my list is shopping, by which I mean go to the mall or the shopping center and then go in a store, out a store, in another store, out another store, have lunch, visit a bunch more stores, and then come home with 6 bags of stuff. Or spend hours scrolling online, putting things into your shopping cart, out of your shopping cart, and then buying a bunch of stuff that you didn't really need, and half of it ends up not being used because it's not really the perfect fit anyway. I used to very much believe in retail therapy, and I would either go alone or with a friend, and we'd make a day of it. And as much fun as it was to spend a day with someone and to browse all the stores, which is something I did really like, it was also super exhausting, and I always bought so many things that I didn't need, and once they were in my home, I hardly ever looked at. Going shopping for random things and just seeing what's there is not a great habit for me because it is so easy to spend your money this way. There are thousands of products that you could potentially buy even within one shopping street. So if I want to spend a day with someone now, I will propose a different activity, and if I need to go shopping for something, I will just go look for that item specifically. Like a few weeks ago, I wanted to add something to my wardrobe, and I went to one store and I bought one thing that I really loved, and I went home. It's much better in my opinion. Another thing I can now easily live without is holiday gifts, especially around Christmas time. I used to go crazy at Christmas time, buying everyone gifts and thinking of all the gifts that I would like to get. And we used to do Secret Santa, so I would just go online looking for things to want to put on my wish list for Secret Santa that I didn't even know existed a minute ago. We now hardly exchange any gifts with Christmas or any other holiday, and it is much less stressful, it's more enjoyable, and no one ends up with stuff that they didn't really want or need and now they have to find a place for in their home. Number 3 is photos. Whenever I used to go out for the day or go on holiday, for example, I would take an insane amount of photos, and now I just take a few photos here and there, but definitely not the entire time. I think when we take a lot of photos, we do it to have memories to look back on. But when we go overboard and we're taking photos the entire time, we will miss the entire experience as it is happening around us, and that is such a waste. So instead of having real memories of that time, you will be left with memories of being pressed up against your camera. So yes, I'll take a photo or two here and there, but then I will move my camera away and just enjoy the experience as it is happening. I used to have huge amounts of makeup, and this was definitely part of my identity at the time. I always saw myself as this girl who had a lot of makeup and could do all the different styles, and at one point I even wanted to be a makeup artist, or so I thought. Now I still like my makeup, but I have one of each. So I have one blush, one mascara, one foundation, one eyeshadow palette, etc. Much better now. I enjoy it a lot more. I only have a few options when it comes to nail polish and lipsticks, but even those are a fraction of what I used to own. I guess after a while I just started being more honest with myself. Like, I'm not that good with makeup. I have no Nikki tutorials, and I don't even particularly enjoy it anymore, and I hated the clutter. It was super expensive, so I definitely do not miss all that. Next on the things I can now easily live without is designer brands, and looking back on it, it becomes harder and harder for me to understand why I used to want to spend money on them. Not only are they very expensive just because we as a society thought that they were cool and that is what they were worth, but even though they are so expensive, they aren't even produced in a better way or a more ethical or sustainable way. most of the time there's just a huge profit margin. I guess the quality is higher, so at least you can get a lot of use out of that item, but that's not even always the case. And I remember buying a Chanel nail polish because at the time that was still affordable for me with my student income, and at least I would own something from Chanel, and I didn't even like the color that much, so it's crazy when I think about it now. I used to buy a lot of different notebooks and stationery, and this is one of those things. It's just a dangerous combination of something that is really fun and cute and looks good in the store and is also relatively affordable. But the thing with these items is that they do cause clutter and they do sit around your space waiting for you to use them. You kind of feel badly if you're not using them. It's just not worth it to me. So right now I have one notebook and one fine liner, and when my notebook is full, I will recycle it and I'll buy a new one. Much better peace of mind for me. Next one on my list is going out partying, drinking, clubbing, things like that. And this is one of the best things about minimalism for me. Not just the less is more, which definitely is true, but also the fact that it helps you to understand yourself a little bit better, get to know yourself, the things you do value, the things you don't value as much, and also to accept yourself for that. I have never really enjoyed clubbing, if I'm totally honest. It is much too crowded, much too loud, and it's just not really my cup of tea. But for the longest time, I did feel like I was doing something wrong, like I wasn't living my life right, or I was wasting my youth, or I didn't have the right friends, and I kind of felt left out in a way. But now I realize that clubbing and partying is just not really my thing, and that's okay, and I didn't miss out because the few experiences that I did have, I didn't really enjoy. I like going out with friends, I like drinking even, like in moderation, but still, I like these things, I enjoy them. But clubbing is just not my thing. That is totally okay, and I accept that now. Next is so-called sexy but extremely uncomfortable underwear. Now don't get me wrong, I still like pretty underwear, and it's not like I've gotten rid of all my wired bras or something like that, but I'm talking about the extremely uncomfortable, painful, polyester things that are not doing anyone a favor, and the day I got rid of them was such a relief for me. I don't think that we need to be uncomfortable or wear painful things in order to look sexy and feminine. And here's where I'd like to insert a quick break for today's sponsor. I've worked with this brand before because they're amazing, and sponsorships are always very important for the channel to make these free videos possible for everyone. So a really big thanks to Organic Basics for sponsoring today's video. They make ethical and sustainable basics and underwear that are very comfortable and high quality. They are a Danish brand and their items are made in Europe. And over time I've received a bunch of their products and I still wear them all the time. This time they sent me this black sports bra, which is very comfy, and I wear this to play tennis and do yoga, and this super cute summer t-shirt dress. And I have been wearing this in the summer, and now I'm going to wear it with black tights and boots in the fall too. This dress is from their Tencel line. It is one of my personal favorites because it's so soft and light. And this is actually an eco-friendly material made from wood pulp from eucalyptus that takes 80% less water to grow than cotton. Their basics cost a little bit more than your average fast fashion brand, but in my experience their quality is amazing. You can get a lot of use out of them. Like with this sports bra, it is made from a special kind of fabric, so you don't have to wash it as often, which again is better for the environment as well. If you happen to be in the market for new underwear or new basics for your wardrobe, I recommend checking them out. There is a 10% discount code in the description as well, and the link is there too. And little pro tip from me, if you do order, I always like to order them one size up from my regular size because I find that that is the best fit for me. So you can also learn more about their sustainability practices on their website. Big thanks to Organic Basics. Let's get back to the video. This may sound kind of random, but I used to get the IKEA catalogs sent to my house, and back then I would just take a moment to leaf through them with a cup of tea and circle all the things that I wanted to buy. And then most of the time they would be on my mind for a while, and sometimes I would buy them, but most of the time it was just a lot of wasted effort and time. I now think that these catalogs are actually quite wasteful. They print millions of them. I'm not completely sure. I think that they stopped sending them to people's homes and you have to get them in the store, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I can just as easily take that nice moment with a cup of tea with a good book. So that's not an issue, and I just don't really believe in looking for things to want to buy that you didn't know existed before. So I much prefer to just do research if I want something specific and then going out to look for that specific item. Same thing with flyers. That also used to be kind of like a ritual for me, and I used to get them sent to my house, and it was kind of like this weekly packet of 20 or 30 different flyers wrapped in plastic. Very wasteful, would create so much paper clutter, and I only checked out the same stores each week anyway for the discounts. And now each week, me and my boyfriend, when we are meal planning and writing our grocery shopping list, we just check for the discounts on our phone, and it's not like you need the paper flyers for the coupons or anything like that. So much better for the environment, and I'm really happy that I stopped subscribing to those flyers. Something else I can now easily live without is a massive wardrobe. I used to be very much in the mindset of more is better, so that I would have more options. But definitely I disagree with that now. I much prefer a smaller wardrobe because it makes everything easier. It makes it easier to find things, it makes it easier to get dressed in the morning, and weirdly I now feel that I have more pretty things, better things. If you want to declutter your wardrobe, I recommend giving this video a watch. I go through the entire process step by step, and you can find the link in the description box, plus right here. I don't even want to remember how much money I've spent on unnecessary and expensive beauty products. Especially when I was younger, I figured if there was a product for something, I figured that I had to buy it because there had to be a reason for that product being there. And if I wasn't using it, maybe I was doing something wrong. I remember buying a product that was specifically to reduce pores or their visibility or something, when my pores were not even visible. I just bought it because I figured, oh, this product exists, so I better use it because otherwise there's something wrong with the way that I look. Also, I remember buying all these different hair treatments and serums and stuff that never did anything for my hair, and the more I was buying things like this, the more insecure I became. And it was only when I stopped buying all that stuff and just stuck to the basics, then my confidence started going up again. My boyfriend and I stopped buying each other anniversary gifts, and now we just do something fun together instead. And actually our 18th anniversary is coming up, yay! And we were just trying to rack our brains, figuring out something to buy for each other, when really this was just adding a layer of stress to something that didn't even need gifts in the first place. It was just something that we are conditioned to do, that anniversaries require gifts. So this is much better for us. Just like with makeup, I used to identify as someone who owns a large perfume collection, and I would kind of pride myself on that, and at one point I must have had like 15 bottles, and it gets so exhausting for me, things like this. You have to use them all up before they lose their scent, you have to store all these things, and it's just such a hassle. And I now much prefer to have only one bottle, which by the way I don't spend nearly as much money on as I did back then, and then just using that up and then going out and buying another one. Lastly is that I used to be crazy for home accessories and decor items, and by far these would be the things that were my favorite things to shop for, and definitely 10 years ago would not have guessed that this would be one of those things that I would stop wanting to have around me so much. Home decor is so easy to buy because they make it look so pretty in the store, and it's usually quite affordable, and there's never any hassle of them not having your size, or I don't know, something's not flattering on you. It's really easy to buy that stuff. But now I really do think when it comes to decor items also that less is more, and if you want your home to be more cozy, decor items are not the only way to do it and not the best way to do it in my opinion. So I actually have an entire video about how to decorate your home without making it feel more cluttered. I will leave that video for you right here and in the description. You know what I'm gonna say, if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please do so down below for weekly videos like this one, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up because that helps and I appreciate it. And if you want more videos from me, you can always join us on Patreon. We have a lot of fun there, patreon.com/simplehappyzen. Right here is things I buy more as a minimalist, and right here is how to think like a minimalist. As always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Have a wonderful day, my friends, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye!